Hi, welcome to my vlog. My name is Vega and we'll be talking about the movies Batman, WALL-E, and Metropolis, and the mythic and ritual elements found within these movies. Now, within the movie Metropolis, it's set in a futuristic urban dystopia. It's a black and white movie with not a lot of, there's not any dialogue in it. There's some, instrumentals, but for the most part, there's no dialogue. Our protagonist, Freder, is a very wealthy man. He's the son of the city's master, and he ends up falling in love with Maria, who's this very saintly figure to these working class people. And we see that this dystopia holds two worlds. The world in which you're rich and you have no worries and you get to live your life and be happy, in the world where you have no money and you work and you have no shoes and you're dirty. And Freder, by falling in love with Maria, ends up being able to see this other world that he's never been able to see before. And he realizes how wrong it is that these people are being treated this way. What makes them different than him? He asks himself that. And Freder, wanting to do something about it, really tries to bring the workers and his father, the master of the city, and the wealthy people together. And that's what really this movie's about. I think the movie says the best when it talks about the mediator between the head and the hands must be the heart. And I think Freder was doing exactly that. He was trying to follow his heart. But I want to focus on the other two movies more because those are the movies that interest me personally. Especially the movie WALL-E, which I love. It's a great Pixar animated film. The way Pixar, sets the characters and the visuals and how they do, the settings in space was really incredible. Just kudos to them. They did an incredible job with the movie. But WALL-E is about this little robot who's lives on Earth. Earth is now abandoned by humanity. It's covered in trash and filth, and I don't even think humans can possibly still live there until the end. We realize they do. And we see a couple things in the beginning. We see a lot of, there's a lot of stores that says large, superstore, even like large gas, which I was like, what does that even mean? We see that humanity has, leaned towards a lifestyle that, isn't the best for our planet, but made us happy because we're getting large drinks. Everything's in large. Everything's plentiful. But we end up destroying the environment that way. So they go on this 5-year cruise that ends up lasting 700 years. And at that point, humanity doesn't even remember Earth. They're so caught up in their technology and that they don't even know that they like each other are there. They speak to each other right next to each other, but through a screen. And I think the animators were trying to call out maybe us, younger generations who are so consumed in their technology that sometimes we miss out on some things within our lives. We also see there's a lot of dead trash cleaning robots that WALL-E himself uses, for his parts to keep him going and stuff. And we see this symbolism with the plants. We've been learning about Fraser's vegetation god, and the plant in this movie takes the main role, I feel like, of the film. It's what the goal is, the objective, the directive for Eve, to make sure this plant gets into its objective so they can go home. I think that's a very important symbolism. I believe this movie's intended audience was children and adults. I believe that is trying to show us what harm we can cause onto the planet if we do not become more environmentally aware. We use a lot and we don't, recycle and replant, and, that causes a lot of harm to our planet. And at the end, the president within the movie was just like, it's okay, give up, to stay in space, don't come back here, it's not important. But the captain disagrees. He's like, it's been 700 years and this is our home, this is our planet. We're the one who caused this destruction and we're the ones who have to fix it. And I think that was an amazing job on Pixar's part of choosing the role for the captain. But yeah, we see WALL-E. He's very sympathetic. He falls in love with Eve at first sight. He follows the monomyth. He goes on his hero's journey to save Eve, to save the plant, to save Earth, and he ends up having to sacrifice himself for that. This is in his right, his initiation right. WALL-E is transforming into a different character. And it's very sad at the end when he's replaced. He's not even WALL-E anymore until Eve relights that spark within him. And I think, Pixar again just did an incredible job with that movie. Now, Batman is a very interesting character, I guess we can say. We see a lot of superhero and mythic elements being mixed together. I'm doing my documentary on, superheroes, comic books, their films, and how that relates to myth. So I've read up a little bit on this. We see that Superman sometimes is even being compared to Christianity references like Jesus and stuff. But Batman is being used for a different sense. Instead of trying to spark hope like a lot of heroes do, he actually symbolizes fear. People fear Batman, and he represents the failure of institutions, civic institutions like the police force, the DA, and the political scene. This dystopian version of Gotham, which represents crime, violence, a poor economy, ethical depravity, it's used to showcase how sometimes our American values are being viewed as. Sometimes we get so caught up in being selfish and caring for ourselves and not really caring about other people that harm can happen. And I think Batman's just showing what way our society can lean towards and how we should try to stray away from that. The Joker, I feel like, is being used to represent the flawed political system and the emptiness in current American values. He really just doesn't care. He does what he wants. He's an extremist. He believes that him and Batman are enemies, a nemesis, and he believes that Batman should die. But he ends up never really killing him. We also see that I feel like Joker represents the shadow theory we were brushing upon a little bit in Jung's work, and that Batman thinks of himself as a god. And puts himself in danger without even really thinking about the consequences. He views himself on this godly level, even though he has no superpowers, no magic, nothing to elevate him above anyone else except for his money. But he still thinks that he's better than everyone. He even cancels the ballet show that Rachel was supposed to go to, just to get at Rachel, because he has the money to do so. And I feel like Metropolis and Batman are, being used to represent, like, the Gotham as the working class and against the 1%. And I also believe that Harvey Dent is being shown as good versus evil. He has a very, good and justice side that ends up getting corrupted by the Joker. And I think that says something about what people can do to other people. We see Two-Face. He's two sides of the coin, the side of justice and the side of evil. We see also there's also a love story within this one. There's a love story within all these movies. But in this love story, sadly, the character doesn't love the person back. Rachel loves Harvey, and that's what ends up breaking, I think, Batman's heart a little bit. I believe this audience is definitely, set for adults. The story definitely has a darker setting and a violent setting that's probably not suitable for children. And I think that Harvey really represented what we hope an American citizen, can be. But then he also represented what dystopia can do to someone who is very just and how easily it can corrupt them. But in the end, I think all these movies do a great job of showing how dystopia really plays a part onto corrupting people. How the captain of the ship the whole time, the wheel viewed himself as the captain. And that's just because power corrupted him, just as power corrupted Fredder's dad, just how power corrupted Joker and Harvey and even Batman. And I think that says a lot about these movies. But that's all I really wanted to go into. Again, superhero mythic elements being highlighted and shown within Batman, and how I just think these movies very just focus on dystopia, and that's what I really wanted to talk about. Thank you, and have a great day.